is Knicks Nets at the Barclays Center tonight. So let's talk about all things Knicks Nets, the rivalry, everything going on with the Knicks for sure, with Geoff Rasmussen, who is a podcast host, content creator, does a lot of things for the Strickland. You guys got to check it out. Geoff, first time on, man. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Really appreciate y'all for having me on. And I'm excited to be here, talk Knicks Nets.
All right, let's get into it, because before we even get into this rivalry, man, let's get into what the Knicks have put on tape this season so far. 15-11, fifth in the East. I'm going to put you on the spot. Are they overachieving, underachieving? Are they pretty much on the par?
I got to be honest, I'm probably going to give a little bit more robotic of an answer than you're used to. Their preseason over-under was 44.5. 15-11. It's a 47 win pace. They're 10th in the NBA in net rating. I think they're pretty much exactly what people expected them to be. A good, solid team. They're not, top of the East, but I don't think they're going to be messing with the play-in either. I think this is pretty much exactly what people who were paying attention expected them to be.
So are you okay with that? That they're just sitting there, fifth in the East? And, do you want more from this team?
Well, that's actually a really good question, because, there are some people who are just like, wow, the Knicks were so mediocre for all of the 2000s. Enjoy this. And then there are other people who are like, there's more meat on the bone. We should be seeking that. I personally, look, I'm happy with where they're at. I do think that there are a couple areas where they can go for it a little bit more, but I think you do have to appreciate what Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau have done on some level, while accepting that there are other things that they can do, small moves that can be made within the roster.
All right. That trade deadline is what we all got our eyes on, to see if they do bring in a superstar or that key piece to get them over the hump. Now let's talk rivalry. Knicks big man Isaiah Hartenstein said, quote, most of the time we go to Barclays, it's mostly Knicks fans, so I don't know if it's really a rivalry at this point. What's your thoughts on the whole Knicks-Nets rivalry?
I believe that rivalries are made in the playoffs. And, as any Knicks or Nets fan knows, it's been 20 years since they've met in the playoffs. They met in 2004. The Nets swept the Knicks. They haven't really played a super important game since then. The rivalry tried to be reinvigorated when the Nets, quote unquote, stole Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant from the Knicks. But, I think we all know how that worked out. The Nets are in a really good place right now. I believe the Knicks are in a really good place. They're both on their own paths, and I don't really see it. I as a Knicks fan, I know that the vibe is different when the Knicks play, the Celtics or even the Hawks. I just think that there's mostly mutual respect, or at least I hope there is.
All right, so let's talk about tonight. What are your keys for the Knicks to walk out of the Barclays Center with a W?
Well, I think when most people think about the Nets ever since they made their trades, there's kind of this assumption that the Nets are this team with a bunch of wings that plays defense. But this season, they're actually shooting the sixth most three-pointers in the entire NBA, and they're second in the league in three-point percentage. Meanwhile, since Mitchell Robinson went down, the Knicks are last in the NBA in points per 100 possessions allowed. They're allowing teams to shoot 58% effective field goal percentage at 62% true shooting percentage. So I think it's all got to start on the defensive end. I think the Nets are going to put the ball in Spencer Dinwiddie's hands, in Mikal Bridges' hands. They're going to try to penetrate, and they're going to try to find shooters. Tom Thibodeau wants to keep you away from the rim. He does not want to concede layups. And if you have bad defense at the point of attack, the Nets have proven that they're going to find shooters. So if the Knicks are going to come out of this game with a win, I think they have to be good at the point of attack, and they have to keep those ball handlers out of the paint. On the other side of the court, I think it's just Julius Randle keeping his foot on the accelerator. He's been so good recently, and I don't really see anyone on Brooklyn who can stop him. Honestly, I know that sounds arrogant, Knicks fan-y, and not really in-depth analysis, but the Nets are kind of small on the wing, and I think that he's going to be a big part in a Knicks victory if they do win. So those are my two keys, one on each side of the ball.
All right, tell the people where they can find you.
So I'm Frank Barrett 119 on Twitter. I do a ton of film work, not just related to the Knicks, but I will say there is a lot of Knicks stuff. Yeah, that's where I do most of my film work, though.
Real quick, how'd you come up with Frank Barrett?
Oh man, any chance I had at gaining a following is just gonna be lost when I answer this question. So My two favorite, it's a pseudonym, and when I made it back in 2020, is my two favorite Knicks at the time, R.J. Barrett and Frank Ntilikina, unfortunately.
Okay, all
I,
right.
I still love Frank, but it just didn't work out.
All right, just making sure it wasn't one of those KD burner accounts or anything.
Oh, no.
All right, thanks for hopping on with us, man.
Appreciate you.